Capozzi here on my camping, bushcraft and survival Facebook group, and I'll upload this video to YouTube as well. And I just want to talk about this disastrous floods and a hurricane in Texas in relation to the idea of looting for survival. Now, first thing I want to say is if you go back for many years now, all these survivalists, urban survivalists, preppers, doomsday preppers and so forth, have been talking about the idea of looting as a survival strategy. And perhaps looting is a strong term, if you want to call it scavenging or something. And there are many videos on Facebook of people showing their bug-out bags, and they're always saying, don't forget your bolt cutters and your jimmy crowbar in case you have to pry your way into people's properties to scavenge food and so forth for survival. And this is very interesting because when we look at what's going on in Texas now, one mayor of a town came out and said, looters will get mandatory life in prison. And there was a video making its rounds on Facebook of, they happened to be black men, two black men in a shop taking stuff, looting. And I thought, hang on, where do you draw the line between criminal activity like looting, where you're going to be thrown in jail for the rest of your life, and just plain old scavenging for survival? Like you see all the doomsday preppers talking about on YouTube, bug-out bags, people with bolt cutters and crowbars and stuff. Now, what if you're even a prepper and your house has been washed away, it's a flood? Doomsday preppers on the TV show never talked about that. You've got your bugging in scenario, your house, your bomb shelter full of gear, food, your basement full of gear. What if it all gets flooded, destroyed, washed away? What if you've then got a family and children hiding somewhere, up a tree or something, and you're going to say, right, I'm going to go and get some food, stay here, and you go looking for food to scavenge food for survival for your family. Your money's been washed away, or if you got your money, there's no shopkeepers around. And what if you just break into some shop for some desperate supplies for survival? That's your, people talk about SHTF, end of the world, disasters where you've got to do urban survival and so forth. What we need to do is just step back and say, hold on, what's going on here? Where do you draw the line between these people, looting for survival or scavenging, and legitimate survival tactics as a survival strategy to break into property and so forth? The other thing is all the guns. Americans love guns. You break into someone's home as a survival strategy, and what if the person's around with a gun to blow you away? What are you going to do with guns? Guns are made to kill people, so what are Americans going to do with all their guns? Just blow someone away trying to find food to survive, to feed their family or something? What if you've got a gun to shoot back? Then it becomes a war. All this sort of, that's why guns, I'm not against guns. I believe in a people's right to have guns, but in a survival doomsday prepping scenario, I think Americans are way off track, and all their guns, they're meant to kill people, and what are you going to do? Start murdering your neighbours who are after some food to survive? But that's besides the point. Now, if you have a riot and people smash shop fronts and then carry out TVs and things, that's looting. That's obvious criminal looting. But when it becomes a survival strategy, now that video that I saw, there's two black men in the shop, I'm not sure what they were doing. But, you could have a legitimate survival need to break into a shop. There may be no shop owners around. You may not have money and so forth. What are you going to do? So that's a legitimate thing to talk about. Let's step back from all these things about looting and black people and this and that and throwing people in jail for the rest of their lives because they're trying to find food to survive. Doomsday preppers and survivalists have been talking about this for years. What if that's a legitimate survival scenario? It's a disaster, SHTF, all these things. Just wanted to throw that out there. What do you think? Where does looting cross the line to become a strategy for survival? And where are you going to blame people? Accuse that person of looting or that person surviving? It seems like a minefield of accusations there. So what do people think about that? There's some of my points that, the blame might fall onto doomsday preppers and all these bug-out videos on YouTube. Stop talking about urban survival and potentially looting to survive. When you get a survival situation, then it becomes criminal activity. You can have the police on the streets, the army, helicopters and all that, catching people, throwing people in jail for the rest of their lives and so forth, and it being accused of just looting. So that fine line between survival scavenging or looting and just criminal behaviour seems like an interesting debate. What do you think? I think I've made my point. Take care, and I'll see you next time.